Located in the upscale part of town, the guild offices were housed in one of the many multi-storied, glass-fronted corporate buildings lining the camelback corridor. I could never quite figure out how a magical mercenary storehouse managed to share building space with lawyers, financial institutions, and corporate giants. It wasn't so much the high-end rent demanded by the building's location, which was easily paid by the commission the guild made off their employees. It was the unsettling dichotomy of the building's occupants. At any given time, a combat mage reeking of magic and covered in undeterminable things could run into a briefcase-carrying lawyer or a buttoned-up number cruncher. And it wasn't just the varied employees. Even the clientele was jarringly different. There was no telling who would turn up looking for help from the guild or what trouble they would drag in behind them. During my 10 years of punching the guild's clock, none of the building's other residents ever made a peep of dissent about our business or clientele. Of course, that could be attributed to being afraid of pissing off the motley crew the guild claimed. We did have a well-earned reputation of payback. Whatever the reason, the strange arrangement worked. Like most guild employees, I skipped the elevator and used the stairs to access the second floor, where our offices were located. I walked down the hall, passing thick doors locked tight in wards, and pushed through a door bearing Arcane Guild Western Division, Arizona office, etched into the glass. An instrumental rendition of a song that normally carried a hefty bass line played through the lobby speakers. I bypassed the cluster of chairs with the accompanying end tables sitting on either side of the door. To my left, a harried-looking man with a pet carrier at his feet perched uncomfortably on the edge of a corner chair. He was so wound up that I almost expected him to pop up at any second, as if launched from a cannon. Thankfully, it didn't happen. Instead, his attention shot to me as he rocked forward. When it was obvious I wasn't the person he was expecting, he settled back down and returned to staring at the pet carrier. Whatever was in it was vocally unhappy, hissing and rattling the cage.
Morning, Rory.
The man sitting behind the front desk didn't take his eyes off the screen in front of him as his fingers danced over the keyboard. Hey, Evan. I waited until I hit the desk before saying more. What are you doing here? Normally, the front lobby was manned by one of the trainees, not one of the guild's best electro-mages.
Daria called in. Seems she zigged when she was supposed to zag and ended up in urgent care with a dislocated shoulder last night.
Urgent care? Wouldn't it be faster and easier to call in a healer? Without looking from his screen, he said,
Probably, but would she remember to zag next time?
Recalling some of my more memorable training experiences, I conceded his point. Under the short, silver-touched brown hair, a forbidding frown darkened his face, turning him from friendly corporate greeter to ruthless raider.
Suck it, jag-off.
My lips twitched at his snarl. I leaned over and saw his screen was filled with a war-torn battlefield. Who's winning? A spectacular explosion lit up the screen, obliterating the action. Evan's frown turned into a feral smile and he finally looked up, light dancing off the clear lenses of his glasses.
Me?
Something in my expression must have given me away because his brown eyes narrowed with speculation.
What's wrong?
For a brief moment, I considered sharing my worry about Lena, but thought better of airing my paranoia. At least, not yet. Unwilling to go into detail about my morning, I stuck with long morning. Thankfully, he didn't push, and I decided to shift his focus. You do realize you've got a customer waiting. Since my goal wasn't to embarrass, I kept my voice low so it wouldn't carry. He leaned to the side, looked behind me, then turned back to me.
Yeah?
Might want to tone down the trash talk. He waved my point away.
Trust me, he's more worried about other things. He's waiting for Adrian, who's currently finishing up a phone call with another client.
The yowls behind us grew in strength. This time we both looked back at the waiting client. A sweep of color flooded the man's face, and he muttered,
Sorry.
No worries. I gave him a commiserating smile before turning back to Evan. I widened my eyes in silent query. Evan leaned in and lowered his voice.
Someone cursed his dog who likes to dig in flower beds.
Another distinctly feline, not canine, yowl cut him off.
Into thinking it was a cat.